Good morning. Today is, I believe, May 22nd. And I was just thinking about relationships and how so many of us go through being wanted. Rejection, even manipulation in a relationship. And even taking back our life when we recognize a person is not for us, whether in marriage or even in just long-term relationships. So I want to start off reading 1 Corinthians 13. It says, well, I want to start off with verse 4. I want to read verse 4 through 13. And $50 to fill up half a tank of gas, right? Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love suffers long and is kind. How long do we suffer with love? Love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up. It does not behave rudely. It does not seek its own. Does not provoke. It thinks no evil. How many times have other thoughts gotten in our head that made us think evil thoughts? Oh, they don't like me. They're cheating on me. This. And then we end up creating a self-fulfilling prophecy because we spoke so much negativity over the situation that frustration has arose on the other party and said, hey, the situation is froze because there's no way I want to be with someone so insecure and so rejecting of what I am doing. Anyway, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails, but whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part, in pieces, broken, not fulfilling, will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, understood as a child, thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. When I grew up, when I matured in my mind, when I recognized what real really is, when I stopped chasing the fantasy and recognized this is the reality, this is this person, this is who this person is. Good, bad, and different, this is who this person is. And I just have to accept that this is who this person is. I can't keep trying to make this person to be something that they're not. If I choose to be with this person, I choose to be and accept them for who they are. Good, bad, selfish, stank bro, awesome cologne, great haircut, nice legs. I mean, whatever it is, thoughtful, kind, all these things, we just have to accept the person for who they are. So, for now, we see in a mirror dimly, then face to face. Now I know in part, that part again. But then I shall know just as I am also known. And now by faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. So look at that, put away childish things, and then I see myself in the mirror. I think the best love that you get is when you can self-actualize and realize what you bring to the table. Good, bad, and different. Hold on a second. So, putting that gas pump up. What do you bring to the table? Like, and I just look at some of these ideals that we have when we come into relationships based on our parents training us, based on whoever has sown into our lives, existence, frustration, whatever this is when we're sucking air. Like, what values have we been given? What ideals of love have been imparted to us? What have we caught along the way from other family members? What have we been taught? Whether school, other relationships, social media. Like, whose idea of love has been imparted to you? I mean, I even look at the different love languages and I say, I really don't fit those boxes exclusively, because I have more than that. I mean, yeah, some of those things do categorize major love languages that I have, but it's not all of them. And I think when we keep making laws on how things should be, we truly lose the magnanimous power of loving another person. What do you mean? Okay, so if I got to keep putting labels on laws and people in boxes about this, that, and the other, then how can I truly get the experience of the person when it's like, okay, well, you didn't do it like this, so then that means something? No, I mean, I just did something different for whatever reason. I don't even have to have a reason. I mean, it just happened that way. Or how about, I don't get the attention that I want, so I don't think you like me. Some people just were never raised to be affectionate like that. But at the same time, if this is somebody that you care about and you do plan on doing something long term, you should learn to love the person the way they want to receive love. Going back to those love languages. Even under 1 Corinthians 13, love is kind, love is patient. You're patient enough to learn the person and kind enough to give them what they want when you love them. And just remember, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. And that don't mean just financially. That means time, energy, effort, thoughtfulness. The Holy Spirit will say, hey, won't you get this? I'll never forget. I was on this job and I could not finish it. I was looking at, I went to 5 different Home Depots looking for one recess light fixture. No, it wasn't recessed. It was a box to put a light in. It recessed into the wall, so it was a vanity light, and it was on a bathroom remodel. Anyway, long story short, he was like, "Hey, I need you to buy this foot bath or whatever." And until I bought that foot bath, I couldn't find the item I was looking for. And when I found it, the Holy Spirit was like, after I bought this foot bath, the Holy Spirit was like, now go to this Home Depot. I went there and there was only one of those particular boxes to fit into the wall that I needed to just finish out this portion of the job or whatever. And I was just like, wow. So you do have a tag team partner, in a third partner in your relationships, and that's God. And when our relationship with God supersedes everything else, even the relationship of the person that we with, we win in that relationship. And I mean, just my brain went on a lot of different thoughts at that one moment, but just reflecting on so many things that I have overcome by allowing God to be first place in my heart, and just able to get over sexual addiction. And when I got over that, then I started having cravings for gluttonous cravings, whether sugary treats or savory snacks. And I just said, you know what? Neither of these is good for my health. I want to live. I don't want to be in bondage to sex. I don't want to be in bondage to food. I don't want to be in bondage to anything. Which comes to the culmination of my thoughts, which is you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You don't get rejected when you love yourself, because you recognize that you love God enough to know, hey, just stick it out with this person, or run, or don't even call this person. This person's not worth your time. I used to when I had low self-esteem, and this was from high school, I guess middle school, when I first started being attracted to the opposite sex, all the way through to like my second marriage. And my second marriage when I started getting over it. But it was just like, if she gonna give me attention and she fits the what am I trying to say? I don't want to say just fine. It was just like, it was more than just fine to me. Like, she's giving me attention and she's physically pleasing to what my eyes like to see. And I know everybody like what they like. And I'm not trying to describe that. But anyway, I'm trying to be so into that point. But with that, not loving myself, it was just like, oh wow, you like me? Oh, okay. You know, and I was such a people pleaser that I would expect people to treat me like I treated them, which that's not the case. And I would get so frustrated because it's just like, well, I do all this for you, and the person's like, you're loving me the way you want to be loved, not necessarily the way I want to be loved. Or you loving me the way you think, you know, this fantasy of how things are supposed to go. And that's not the case. I mean, I'm an individual. I'm talking as the other person, the second party. I have values, I have feelings, I have differences of opinions. That doesn't make me your enemy. And just because I don't agree with you, that doesn't mean I'm trying to reject you. I just got a different opinion, and it's okay. And coming to the growing out of that people pleasing, that bondage, and it wasn't even just people pleasing with women as my mates. It was people pleasing with work, with, you know, parents, with my children, with just everybody. And you know, it would just destroy me when I did something that was not pleasing. And then I grew out of that, and I was just like, and I recognized, I'm like, I'm grown. Like, I don't have to cater to everything you want me to do. Like, okay, when I was a teacher, okay, I didn't do the lesson plans right. All right, no problem. What's missing? What do you need? Okay, cool, got that. It won't happen again. If I needed to take a day, hey, I got to take a day. Even now, I mean, if I got to take a day, I got to take a day. And I recognize taking days add to mental health, because when you're not in a space where you can be effective around other people. Oh, I got a vote today. I just thought about that. But, you know, it's like when you can't be effective around other people, it's just like, why put them through your hell? Like, for real, why put them through your hell? You become more snappy. You say stuff you don't necessarily want to, that you can't take back. I mean, it's just so many different levels of like, why go through all that when you don't have to? I mean, like, for real, why go through all that when you don't have to? At what point do you really choose to love you and to love God first? Love God first, love yourself second, love neighbors as yourself third. Because without that transition, you cannot be healthy. You gotta love yourself enough to take them days. You gotta love yourself enough to let people know I'm not in a good space, and that be okay. And attract people who can respect that. Hey, I can't afford that. I can't do that. I'm just not that guy right now. Or maybe I'm just not for you. And stop being so desperate to be with somebody that it's just like you can't be with yourself to figure some things out, to air some things out, to not be desperate to love yourself more. And I'm not saying be selfish and why everything got to be my way. I think that is the worst person to date, a selfish person, because everything is going to be about them, and it's going to be a frustrated relationship when you want some return of the investment of time and whatever else you put into the relationship. And I think sometimes we're so lustful, men and women, about, and I'm not saying lustful about the same things, but so lustful about a fantasy of what we want versus the reality of what we have. Even if it's a relationship or not a relationship, even if it's just, I don't have a person to be with, and just deal with that reality at that moment. Improve yourself. Get counseling if you need. Talk to yourself. Talk through things. Raise your kids. Spend time with your children and let them know they're loved. Recognize, be mentally free enough to recognize that, hey, my grown child needs this, my teenage child needs this, my elementary child needs that. It's just like, are you mentally free enough to even see what's really going on? Like, how much stuff can you walk away from when you know it's not conducive to what you really want? Like, what you really want. I know for a fact that I just refuse to keep subjecting myself to jobs that are pressuring. I had to walk from a job. I had to turn down. I ain't walk from it. I had to turn down a job. And I realized I was doing so many things that were going past my boundaries. For example, I usually don't answer business calls on Sunday, especially for new customers. Boundary. I mean, we have an established relationship where your emergencies become my emergency. Number two, I had allowed their emergency to become my emergency. Yeah. And I realized that I'm sort of people pleasing, and they really needed some work done, but it's 1,000,001 contractors out here, 1,000,001 businesses out here, and I recognize that this particular person referred me to them, and he knows I'm busy, and I appreciate him always referring me. Make him look good. And I was caught between trying to make him look good as well as fix this problem that the customer has, which was not life or death, but it was just like, y'all need that fixed. This is your only bathroom. This thing needs to be fixed. And I didn't, I was so in go mode on trying to get them satisfied. By the way, I'm already in a job that I'm a little bit stressed about because the help that was promised didn't come through, as well as the getting certain timeline of work done was not happening. And I just said, I can't do this. I just told the customer, I'm like, I just can't do this. I mean, I didn't even charge you an estimate for coming out because it's still my time. My most precious resource on earth is my time. And I just told the customer, I was like, hey, look, I can't do this job for you all. I mean, I can refer you to this guy who does it. I'm already in another job. I was trying to put you ahead of another customer because y'all have an immediate need for something to be fixed. But, you know, like, I'm not going to even be available this week at all because I got to finish this other job. So it's just like, I can't do this. And y'all got to recognize, like, love yourself enough to say, I can't put myself through the stress of a maybe when there's no long-term commitment. There's no marriage. There's no value of you in the relationship. Step back, and if they don't reach out, maybe they don't care. And even recognize when people love you and don't know how to love you because you never told them how you want to be loved. Or maybe you don't even know yourself enough to know how you want to be loved. And maybe you don't know the opposite sex enough to know this is what they are. Especially the person that you say you want to be with. Be at peace with loving God first, loving yourself enough to listen to God and let Him and allow God to guide you through your relations, family, intimate, personal relationships, and business relationships, as well as whatever relationships there are out there. Be at peace. Make confessions of what you want. And remember, if it's God's will, it's God's will. He'll help you.